Okay.
Hello and welcome to Straight Talking with Kelly. This is my new podcast that is focused on bringing you some of the most creative, talented, and intelligent people from various industries. Today, today I have Shelah Moody. Sheila is a Bay Area-based entertainment reporter and a music historian. She is a former San Francisco Chronicle reporter and podcaster. She currently works as a consultant for two digital music platforms, which is Streetwise Radio and Island Stage Magazine. During the pandemic, she launched a monthly Glow Up series, video chats with musicians and influencers. So welcome, Sheila. And
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much, Kelly.
I must tell you guys, Sheila is actually at the airport right now. She's on her way out somewhere, as always. So you might hear some airport stuff going on behind her. So just ignore that because I had to grab her how I had to grab her. Okay, so Sheila, it is a pleasure having you as my second guest on my new podcast, Straight Talking with Kelly. So I have known you for more than 10 years and we have done some incredible things together, but I don't remember how we met. How did we meet?
First of all, Kelly, thank you so much. I'm so honored to be the second guest on your show, and congratulations on your new platform. How we met was almost by coincidence. My dear friend Colleen, who's passed, she was a senior writer at the San Francisco Chronicle in the business department, and we sort of bonded because as writers and part-time editorial assistants, we were both kind of marginalized. We weren't considered like as important to the paper as the star reporters. We did all the grunt work. So we bonded because of, a shared history of having to meet deadlines. One day I was working and she came up to me and she said, Sheila, I have a class with the most amazing woman. Her name is Kelly Armstrong. Can you come tonight? And I said, I'm really tired. I don't think I could do it tonight. Maybe some other time, right? And then Colleen said, she's such a door opener. The one word I would use to describe her is a door opener. And so I know she did it because you were African American, and she thought that I could benefit from learning from a sophisticated woman with a lot of style who is, intelligent and a professor. So when I finally did go into the class, I found out that you were an image consultant. Wow. So I'm thinking, wow, I need a makeover because the dress code at the Chronicle was extremely relaxed, San Francisco style. It wasn't like the East Coast. People didn't wear suits or ties, heels and pearls. You wore sweatsuits. One of the senior editors came to work in his bike suit. It was a very relaxed environment. Nobody dressed up. So from your image class, I learned that you don't dress for the kind of job you had, you dress for the kind of job you want. And I wanted to become a full-time reporter. So Kelly, I participated in a class and she helped me take my fashions to a whole new level. And I felt more confident too, being made over.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What a journey we have. And then we also did stuff in the music industry together.
Yes. Okay. So after I met you through the image consulting class, you referred me to the Recording Academy and began to invite me to cover events. So the first Recording Academy I covered was a Twista, the rapper Twista, the fastest rapper.
Oh my God, I remember that.
And that was at the Cow Palace during a car show. And that way I began to learn about the Recording Academy. And before then, I didn't know it was possible for non-musicians like myself to join. And so you actually directed me and guided me into becoming a member myself of the Recording Academy.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Girl, we have had a journey.
Yes, and you also, I didn't meet Jimmy Jam that day, but because of you, I got to ask Jimmy Jam a question when he came to San Francisco for a lecture, and he shouted out Kelly Armstrong. I said, oh my gosh, Colleen was so right. She doesn't know what connection she made.
I miss her so much. I miss her.
Me too.
I miss her.
She's watching us.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. So Sheila, you come from a musical background. Your dad, Ed Moody, was an acclaimed pianist. Do you play any instruments?
No, my dad was composer, a jazz musician. He grew up in LA. He's original, LA musician. I mean, complete LA style. So he studied under some of the great piano teachers there in Los Angeles. His mother was an immigrant from Belize, and she cleaned houses, cleaned restaurants, cleaned anything to give him piano lessons. So he was a striver. So he worked and worked and worked and, established himself on the jazz scene. And then when he got married to my mother, and he got all excited about moving the family to Las Vegas. Well, unfortunately, she had an aneurysm and passed away when I was 2 months old. So he took my grandmother, his mother, myself, and we settled in Las Vegas, where he had taken a gig with Ink Spots. I don't know if people might remember an old school singing group.
You know
called
what,
Ink Spots.
girl? They got Google. They can look up the Ink Spot.
Right. So there I was, in Las Vegas. And do I play an instrument? He actually tried to teach me piano. He was the composer of lots of songs. Afro-Brazilian was his favorite type of music, and bossa nova. Oh, he was a bossa nova fanatic. He tried to teach me piano. It's hard for parents to really teach you anything because they get frustrated and you're their kid and everything. So I wish I'd kept up with it. One day, though, because of my dad's teaching, I went to the piano and taught myself a Natalie Cole song. And we'll talk about Natalie later. Yeah.
Absolutely, because I know your story with her.
Yeah.
Okay, so now tell me this, Shelah. We spoke a little bit about your time at the Chronicle, but talk a little bit more about like some of the people that were there, because I know you interviewed Mary Wilson, and then I want to give you. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about that first, and then I'll come back.
Oh, yes. Well, I got in the Chronicle through the back door. I started out in the basement taking newspaper subscriptions, and I was persistent. I had a degree in journalism and a master's degree in ethnic studies, so I just kept asking people, how do I get up there to the third floor where all the writing is? How do I get up there? And so I just kept asking people. And so one day I saw a former colleague of mine. This is why networking is so important. I saw a former classmate of mine from San Francisco State. She was a reporter upstairs. I said, Cece, how do you get up there? I want to get up there where you are. So Cece referred me to Linda, and that was during the season when they were hiring editorial assistants. So I applied and as an editorial assistant. And once I got there, I was sorting the mail and whatnot, and I began to shout to everybody who could hear, hey, look, I'm a writer. That's really what I am. One day somebody listened and assigned me a season of sharing story about, the people who had sad situations and were able to bring themselves out of poverty or bad circumstances due to donations. So some of the great people I met there were, you're right, Mary Wilson. We got Mary Wilson to come down for a live interview. That was when we just started moving into the digital age, and Marcus Chan and Benny Evangelista had pitched to the editor this idea about podcasting, which was brand new at the time. And I was chosen because of my love of music. I was always pitching music stories, and they said, hey, we want to recruit you for Chronicle Radio. So I also did the entertainment listings for Datebook, and I would see all the events that were going on. So I would grab the events. Oh, Mary Wilson, I'd love to interview with her. So I pitched it to the podcasting department. I thought we were going to do it on the phone. To my surprise, her PR person wanted her to walk into the Chronicle. And, and I said, well, the editor, David Wiegand, and we had sort of a love-hate relationship. He's one of the people I respect most in the world now. He was very stern, and he rarely accepted anything that I pitched. So I said, well, wait until, if I bring Mary Wilson in here, he's going to really be impressed, and he's going to ask me to be a regular writer, right? So when she came in, I brought Mary Wilson in, past his office, and introduced him to Mary Wilson. Still didn't, but he met Mary Wilson, but he didn't make me a staff writer, but
it was worth a shot.
Right. So, but when the teaching point is when she saw me, a Black woman, she was so excited to see me, another Black woman there working in position of power there. I mean, whatever little power I had, a position of influence. She was so excited, and she told me, she said, "I'm so glad that it's you." She told me she liked my outfit, even though it wasn't anything special. And I'm all, wow. The next time I was asked to go down to a hotel downtown and interview Diane Carroll for the podcast. Oh my, I had worshiped her all of my life. And so I get there and I'm waiting for her to start, and she's fiddling with the, little lipstick thing. She said, "I can't get this open." She doesn't really see me at all. She's looking around. "I can't get it open. I can't get it open." And I reached over and I took it and I opened it and I handed it back to her. She said, "Wow, what do you know? A little girl could open it and I can't." And I said, "Thank you, Miss Carroll. I'm in my 40s, but thank you for calling me a little girl." And so she, we just had the best time. And she again told me that I, was an intelligent and well put together young lady. I think that was after our makeover. So, and the other people that I've been able to bring into the Chronicle, people that you referred to me, Jackie Harrison.
Let me give you my praise on that one, because that is, I think, a very proud moment for me and for you.
Yes.
Jacqueline Hairston, who is a musician, an educator, and she's also the keeper of the Negro Spirituals. Yes. And she won the Jefferson Award in 2007. And I had nominated her for that. And all of her friends were rallied around that to make it happen. And then I reached out to you and I said, "You gotta hook this girl up with something." And you blew it up. Your article was the front page of the Chronicle that day.
Wow.
And that got her so much attention. And like 2 years later, because of that, she was invited to Carnegie Hall to play.
Wow.
And then, there were other things that happened to her along the way. So I'm also going to reach out to Jacqueline and interview her as well, because she means so much to me. She definitely is somebody that our community should know about and that we should be lifting up at all times. So anyway, thank you for what you did for her.
And that's a perfect example of Black women and women in the music industry lifting each other up. We didn't know what was going to happen. I got a call from you. I said, "Why not? Let's do it." You came with Jackie. You said, "Why not? Let's do it." Jackie had to be willing to do it, and, she just lit up the bubble. So it was a collaboration between all.
Yeah. And what you had said earlier is so key, because networking, people call me the networking queen, and I never think of myself as a networker. I just know people gravitate to me.
Right.
Even when I'm not trying to be gravitated towards. It's like, my daughter I'm in Safeway and she's like, "Mommy, do you know these people?" And I'm like, "No." She said, "Well, why are you having 2-hour conversations with them?" And I'm like, you know what? I don't know how to answer that. But networking is key. So I'm so glad that, you brought that up, because that's basically what our relationship has been like. You and I have back and forth network with each other on different things. Yeah. So here's another question I have for you. Shelah, because I know you have been involved in the music scene in the Bay Area for such a long time, and I don't really think people know that you are the silent giant that you are. They don't know that you can get a story out. I mean, you've worked with the Marsalis brothers, and I can't even name half the people that you've worked with. So tell me this. Who are some of the best R&B artists that have come out of the Bay Area? And then I want you to tell me a little bit about your involvement in Island Stage Magazine, and then your Streetwise Radio.
Okay. Well, this weekend we just saw one of the greatest examples of an R&B star to come out of the Bay Area, Keisha Cole, and she and Ashanti got the most views on Versus on Instagram with their Versus battle. So Keisha Cole is from Oakland, of course. There's Keisha, there's Larry Baptiste, who Kelly and I work with, Sheila E. In Vogue, Tony, Narada Michael Walden, just so many people.
What about our girl Sakai? Come on now.
Yes, that's right, Sakai. I was saving her for the ice cream.
Okay, my bad. We still can have her for the ice cream.
Right, okay. She and Nikita just did a beautiful single called "Is That Enough?" And part of the proceeds are going to go towards COVID relief. Sakai and Nikita are members of Train, and during their time off tour, they decided to make a record. And so there's a Kai. Who did I leave out? Did I leave out anyone? Oh, her. Her. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm doing a Zoom interview. I'll put it on soon, sir. Thank you. Okay. 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 Thank you. Okay.
Oh, you gotta
Yes.
put your mask on.
Yes. Okay.
That's okay. Put your mask on, girl. Do that COVID thing.
Yeah.
You're out in public, so I feel them. And good
Okay.
for them for even coming to tell you to do that.
Right. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. How are you? I'm in a Zoom interview, but I'll talk to you later. I'm in a Zoom interview. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, Jesse. Hi. Oh, that's right. Oh, hi. He was kidding. That's my friend. You know what? He's a musician.
Hi. Tell him to stick his head through.
Okay. Come. Hi. Say hi.
Who's that?
Say hi. We're on a live Zoom interview. This is Jesse B.
Hello.
Okay. Can you see him?
Yeah, I could see.
He is one of the he is
Hi,
one
Jesse.
of the baddest African drummers out
Okay.
there. I've done some PR for him too. He
Okay.
had his mask on and I didn't recognize him. Yeah.
You know what? So tell us about your island record, because I know you have a passion for reggae music, and you have definitely represented a lot of reggae artists.
What, one moment, Jesse. Okay, I'll get back to you. 415 312 8689. Yes. Okay.
Everybody has your phone number. We all have it now.
That's okay. That's my business. Okay. So okay. So repeat that again, Kelly. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you was telling us about the Bay Area artists, and you were you talked about Nikita and Sakai, and so now I want you to talk about the Island Records, and then your
Island
magazine, Island Records, Island magazine, and then the Streetwise Radio.
Island Stage Magazine is a digital forum. I'm going to drop the link so people could visit islandstagemagazine.com. It was started by a woman who's very dedicated to reggae music, and she's based in Denver. She started in memory of her son who passed away. His name was Terrence. She started a digital magazine, and it started to blow up, starting with the Marleys and Chronics and all the hottest reggae stars. We feature all of those. And we also, in collaboration with Susan, we put together specialized digital magazines. So it's a whole digital EPK, electronic press kit. And you could also go on the site and pay for the option to have it printed out as a little souvenir book. We also do videos through Island Stage. So it's a digital reggae magazine, and you can hear all of the music by the top reggae artists on the site. Streetwise Radio is based in Gilroy. It's owned by Michael and Carol Ely. They're African-American entrepreneurs, techies. So in their spare time, they have a courier service. So they launched a radio station in about 2009 and recruited me as one of the reporters in 2009. And we do a lot of R&B acts, Peebo Bryson, Maxie Priest, Tony. Most of the achievers in the Bay Area you could find on Streetwise Radio.
Okay, very nice. So now tell me this, what strategies do you use to continue to stay on top of the things within your industry? Oh, you froze on me.
Hello?
Did you hear me? You froze on me.
Oh, sorry. Okay, now I can hear.
So tell me this, I said, what strategies do you use to continue to stay on top of the things within your industry?
Well, now everything is, I get a lot of information from Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. So I scroll to YouTube and I'll see that somebody is having a record release party or a live streaming concert, and I'll log on and get all the information. Or networking. I'll call after the COVID crisis. Oh, sorry. I reached out to all of the musicians I know, and I said, I know you're not touring. It's hard for musicians. How could I help? So like Sakai and Ben Hunter and people like Jesse, who you just met, I started to personally reach out to everyone and ask how I could help. So to stay current, I found out what they were doing and how they were coping in the pandemic. So even though there's a pandemic, I am still able to contact people either through phone or video chats or social media and reach out to people. Staying current, I like YouTube. That I've discovered a lot of people I never heard of before and a lot of trends. especially on YouTube, which is a good free platform.
Okay, very nice. So name 3 people that have inspired you. And just 3, because I know you probably got a lot, but 3.
Okay. First of all, I should say you, Kelly, because if it wasn't for you, I'd have no personal style. I'd just be, lumbering around just in my head about my stories and in a cloth sack and boots, a cloth sack and boots. Okay. And my dad was very inspiring because he told me he didn't put any limits on my achievements. He raised me to believe that I could do anything and not to let anybody intimidate me. And he especially didn't want me to be limited by racism. He said, forget that. You're better than that. You're bigger than that. You could achieve. And another person that I didn't even know that well, Natalie Cole. We came across paths. We met about 3 times, but she influenced me a whole lot. Let me tell you why. We're both Aquarians, right? My birthday is the 1st, her birthday is the 6th. We're both Aquarians. We're both Black women. When I was doing my research, I found that we even like some of the same foods. Get this, Kelly. I read about her struggle with hepatitis C, which was something that was affecting our generation, right? I said, oh, wow, that's a scary disease. I hope she recovers. I got diagnosed with the same thing. I'm cured now. We both were cured.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, wow, why is my life mirroring hers in some ways, except the superstardom? So yes, the 3 people: Kelly Armstrong, Edward Moody, Natalie Cole.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. I appreciate being on that list. So now, Shelah.
I could say that I was, thank God I was cured of Hep C, and I was inspired by Natalie Cole to find the cure. Thanks.
Okay, and I remember when you went through all of that. So Shelah, tell me this, looking back on your life thus far, what would your 9-year-old little girl say about the woman you've become today?
It's okay. And don't listen to them. Don't listen to them, because they were the young people call them haters now, but along the way, there's a lot of naysayers. I was on the bus, and I was a teenager, was on the bus, on my way to a little temp job, and an older Black man sat next to me, and he asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said, a reporter. He said, you can't be no reporter here. And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
So I would say, don't listen. And then people would say, you'll never get that guy you want. You'll never do this. You'll never do that. So don't listen to them, and take your 9-year-old self and just do it anyway. And don't listen to them. Just keep going.
There you go. Okay, Shelah, there's so much more we could talk about that we didn't cover. So I need to definitely have you back. So at another point, we'll come back and talk about other things. So before we close out, what advice would you give to anyone that wanted to get involved in the music industry? And then how can people get in touch with you?
Yes, we talked about it earlier, networking. Just talk to people who know people like you, especially if you're taking classes. Ask your professor. If they have any connections, ask the people at your church. The music industry it's only based on connections. So a lot of the jobs, a lot of the assignments I have, I didn't find on Indeed or LinkedIn. I got from talking to people. The job I got at the Chronicle was through knowing a colleague at San Francisco State, which I graduated from. So it's best to present yourself, have a positive attitude, and just reach out to people and network. And we can't emphasize that enough. And be nice to people, be kind to people, because you never know how people are going to be in a position to help you. So it's crucial. Like sometimes when I go to these events and I'll try to introduce myself to people and they'll have sort of an attitude, like, I don't want to talk to you. So I'll just be polite and say, okay, fine, and move on. I can't curse them out, because you never know who that person is, for one thing. Like at the Grammy Awards, I ear hustled and I found out this gentleman worked with Wynton Marsalis. And I was like, oh, hey, I just got off a project working with Ellis and Delphio, and I ran over excited to talk to him. He's like, You didn't want to hear it. And then I asked him for a business card. I said, oh, I think I'm out. Okay, well, fine. Thank you for your time, but move on. And don't let disappointments stop you. And I'm still learning that. Just keep going, keep networking, and keep being positive. I have to remind myself, especially with the positivity and the pandemic, I have to keep reminding myself, stay positive, keep going, and network. And just like you do, reach out to people. You call, reach out to people through social media, text, email, call, whatever it takes. But music industry contacts for what you really want to do can't be found on a job board, at least not yet.
Right. No, it's definitely something you definitely need to, introduce yourself, like you said. And if people don't want to reach out or respond back, you know what? That's okay. Someone will.
Right, right.
Someone
right.
will. So how can they be in touch with you?
The website for Island Stage magazine is www.islandstage.com, and I'm going to get the correct link for Streetwise Radio, and it's streetwiseradio.blogspot.com, and I'm going to put these links in the chat.
Okay, and then they'll also be included on the podcast when we release the podcast. So thank you for that. Yes. Shelah, it has been such a pleasure wrapping up, learning a little bit more about you, some things I didn't know, so that was great. And just kind of reminiscing with some of the people that have been in our life, like Jacqueline Hairston and Sakai and our beloved Colleen Benson. So
Larry Batiste, Twista, yeah. And thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really honored. Anytime I could.
You have interviewed so many people. I'm like, you know what? It's time to put her in the hot seat. Let people hear about her and all the wonderful things that she does. And then I can guarantee you now, people are going to start looking at you a little bit differently, and they're going to want to be interviewed by you if they had any sense.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. All I can do is give thanks. All I can do is stay humble and give thanks. Keep
Absolutely.
Going. Thank you. And much luck. And I hope you win an award for your show. Your show is amazing. I love your background too.
Oh, thank you. This is in my living room.
Yeah. And next time, can we do a whole show on Michael Jackson? Because I know you're probably.
That's what I'm saying. We got to come back. We didn't even get to talk about the Michael Jackson birthday party you threw. Right. So with that, we have something to come back with. People, thank you so much for listening and joining me on Straight Talking with Kelly with my special guest, Shelah Moody.
Thank you,
Shelah.
Stay inspired, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye.